find 5 different boards in the light, but we can also move, okay, with this, to simplify. In each board is reported the different actor chain, which is the producer and breeders, meat and egg includes, the civil society like consumer, citizen, activists, or so on, the technical expert, veterinary engineers, consultant, the supply chain, feeder producer, packing, retail, hatchery, and so on, and the academic, research and development expert, which maybe could be our topic, but we have to mix it, okay? So, the first step is to build an airplane, but if you want, you can also to upgrade, you can go and upgrade, you can build a swine or a poultry. This is very beautiful, but I think that it's a little bit difficult, so we can start here, okay?
The producer and breeders.
Yeah.
Your name, please?
My name is Neera Irshad, and we are producers and breeders. We are talking with them, let's say. We try to find some issues and some solutions according to our poor knowledge, and you are all welcome to participate and share your own knowledge with us. So, with our lack of knowledge, we think that organic breeder biosecurity is one of the main issues for welfare and for especially if I'm thinking as a producer and a breeder. So this is the problem. So what is the solution? We try to think, and I personally we think like semi-confinement systems, like for example having movable nets, or for example two-way housing systems can be a solution for this problem. If we talk about with the perspective of producers and breeders. And then the second biggest issue, there are actually many issues, but we're trying to say it in a simple word: confinement in the farm, which is like a big issue because we have high flock density in the farms, and which can cause issues like feather picking. It affects the litter quality, and also cause fighting and other issues like because of the density and confinement. So what is the solution? There are actually a number of solutions. Having enrichment in the farms, we can have a veranda as a solution. And then if we talk about specifically feather pickings, we can add some nutrients in the diet, zinc and copper, and there are a lot of work here going on with the zinc and copper, especially in Europe. That too I want to say within the confined limits according to European Union standards. And then we should follow the standards of welfare quality protocols. There are some protocols from Europe that we can follow. There are scores, and there is also one of our suggestions for other problems like foot pad dermatitis and hookburn. It can be a problem, so zeolith, we can use it. It's in the soil, so it helps. And also ammonia accumulation is one of the biggest problems in the farms. So we can have a multi alternative. For example, we can have a rotation system where we can rotate our animals, or maybe a better litter management to reduce. With this, there are some systems, some farmers that have like two-way systems. There is a poultry farm above, and then down there is a fish farm. So the sometimes litter goes down, but it depends on the budget or other perspectives. But this is one of the solutions. We have others. Also, we can and there are the predators, which is if we talk about the free range, it's one of the issues. So we can have a movable forestry, movable nets, agroforestry, or we can have adaptability in the breeds, which is important to work on the genetic level. We can have such kind of breeds which are more adaptable with this kind of problems. Then also the lack of range use, which is which can be an issue. And also we can work with the genetics and agroforestry. I think lameness, which is one of the major issues if we talk about poultry and pigs also. And in the morning they were talking about some apps which is good, like we can follow. But if you cannot afford an app, or maybe you are not as a farmer, you are not you are not familiar with it, there are also some protocols from Welfare Quality Netherlands, and you can just follow that score in the farm. And the best is to detect lameness as early as possible, because it can be because of genetics or nutrition or farm, or maybe because of the bacteria. So we don't know what exactly is the reason. So it's better to separate those birds, which is a common practice in Canada as well, like the separate the birds, so that at least you can score them and then assess them how they behave. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm wrong somewhere.
No, thank you. Good job.
I am Marco. I have to underline what happened in the viewpoint of the supply chain for low input products. So we started with the problem in lack of communication and advertising, refer to the final product. So better through educational projects and learnings, starting from children, like teaching programs and workshops projects that could underline the merging the expectation of consumers and the reality of what they are buying. And we have told also this morning, and expressing also the real cost and the also availability of feed, especially in protein for feeding monogastric animals. That could be a problem also in extensive systems that can increase the impact of the system itself, because of also the low availability of local raw material. And so we think that we have to invest in fostering a more local food supply chain that could increase the biodiversity and the possibility of finding something local that can support our production system, low impact production system. And the other part that is so connected to the part of consumer is the fairness of the price of the food. And so that is the food that arrive from low input methods is higher than the other, because express some hidden cost that on the other supply chain is not expressed. So it's important to link the aspect to an education that can make citizens aware about that the reason why the price is higher and which is the costs that are not expressed in the other intensive system that in the real price of the food itself. So one idea that came from our speech is that the way of that we can find either intensive products, for example, X, and extensive and X from extensive systems are the same. So the X are in the same size and same color and boxed in the same way. One is, for example, labeled organic and the other not. So it's something that could make confusion in the customer. So, for example, an idea that popped up was to make a different aspect. So the low input X, for example, in the supermarket, you can find of different colors, of different shapes, because the nutritional value is the same. So we have to also offer something that could be more linked to biodiversity, because it is. And also referring to X, something that is not so commonly communicated is quite in extensive system is a more seasonal linked product. So we cannot eat the same amount of eggs all year round. So it's like we have to stop eating strawberries in winter. So we could use or some different management strategies in some seasons, or we can also communicate that we have to be more flexible in our diet in order to follow something that is for sure linked to more seasonal availability variation. And last one is linked to the first and the second items, that is avoiding greenwashing, so that the labeling that is expressed something that is not merged expectation and reality, and so but it's commonly used now, and sustainability labeling and something like that. So public certification, more awareness about certification, about labeling that could make the citizens before customers understand that what happened in the production chain.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
Good job.
Thank you.
So regarding the academic and research departments, we thought that the first issue that they have regarding poultry welfare is how to comply with the regulation in terms of the reduction of experimental animals, the 3 R's that we all know, and also data collection, because if you inflict a pain that is equal to the insertion of a needle, you will need a committee to evaluate your process, your procedure, and they will or will not give you authorization to proceed. So we think that both of those problems can be tackled by well, first of all, informatic modelization, because it can contribute to, even though you have a small number of animals, to get a robust analysis. Also, in vitro cell culture, so instead of studying the whole animal, to study just a part of an animal that could be created with 3D printers or something like that. And regarding data collection sampling, we think that with the training of animal caretakers, we can also limit the stress of data collection in terms of both blood sampling but also handling in general. And then we thought that the second most important issue for academic and research departments will be the data collection on farm and the farmer communication. we think that for that we need more involvement for on-farm research and more interaction with farmers. Research takes time, and it's also really complicated to be able to give feedbacks really quickly. Research is also usually made in an academic and scientific language, so maybe more training for researchers in order to create easy, understandable fact sheets that they can give to the farmers and the enterprises that they work with quickly. And then the last issue that is that will be the rearing facility for outdoor systems, because we need a lot of funding for those facilities, even more if we want to keep working with avian flu and also the Poisson fever. So the material for outdoor rearing is extremely expensive, and since we are in outdoor facilities, the reproducibility of experiment is also very complicated. So for that, the idea was to have a variability of on-farm trials. So in that way, you have like a more or less uniform a process with, for example, only meadows or only tree cover for the outdoor range. But you still have several farms and you have a small sample of animals that are dedicated for experiments.
Thank you very much, Claire.
So maybe we can see that we have a clean sheet, but we really were having like big discussions here. So as technical experts and vets, we think that the main issue in outdoor poultry farms is the choice of the strain. So as the genetics is a very complicated thing, we couldn't provide actually solutions, as the farmers cannot choose. Actually, they don't have many choices of the strain, and we propose to review the current breeding system and rebuild it, taking in account, trying to find a balance between performance and health. The second issue, we think that outdoor farms are climate dependent. And we proposed to provide quiet shelters, fencing and agroforestry, which also could help with the issue of predators, as the animals are more exposed and which could compromise the freedoms, mainly fearfulness and pain. We were talking for sure about diseases, as we cannot introduce medical cures. We were thinking about vaccinations for some diseases and alternatives of antibiotics, for example, essential oils and probiotics and so on. We also discuss the issue of bureaucracy, as the farmers find it complicated to remain the ecological objective, for example, which cause like less effort and time to think about animals' welfare.
So first thing before to start, it was really hard to consider ourselves as consumers, considering welfare issue that only consumers knows, whereas we know much more welfare issue than they do. So that just to let you know, that was quite a difficult work. And then it was really hard to rank the different issues we had. also because we didn't have much time to argue between the different participants. So that's like a common ranking, but not everybody agrees with that. So I prefer to precise. There were a big diversity of point of view. So I will try to present it like the first one would be the one we considered as the most important, and the last ones would be like the less important. So the first one is a lack of knowledge on the rearing condition for the consumers, and our solution would be better communication to open farms when it's possible, using biosecurity measures. There are also in some countries some brands which are communicating positively and like real facts on this topic. Education in the school, and also if it's not possible to open the farms, to make some videos which are accessible by people, but like real videos of what's really happening on the farm. The second problem would be that there is too many labels in every country, and so that people get lost and they don't know which ones are good for animal welfare, which ones are not, and it's like a big mix in their minds. So the solution would be education again, but also to have only one system for labeling in Europe, or like a common system in every country, which would be the main one, and in which the consumer will trust. The third issue was the use of antibiotics, but again we have education because it reduced a lot, but maybe consumers don't know that. So it's important to communicate about that, but also to continue to use antibiotics only as curative measures. And maybe to use more and more rustic breeds, so which have maybe less needs of this type of treatments. The fourth point will be access to an outdoor run, and for that our solution is a clear label again. So to have something which is clear, explaining that if the animals went outside or not. And also there are in some countries some supermarkets which are banning some products which are considered as not good enough for animal welfare, so that might be an help for the consumers. And we have issues which are linked together. For example, access to an outdoor run during epidemics. It can be complicated for people to understand what's happening when you have avian flu, and so birds are not going outside, but then you think that what you buy, the animals are still going outside. So there are maybe some things to explain about that. About the epidemics, we said that it could be great to find a way with more research and stuff to manage to have access to an outdoor run, even if it's reduced, even during pandemics. So for animal welfare can be a good thing, and that might be easier to explain to the consumer as well. There is also a problem with the prices, and that was a lot of discussion on where do we put the prices on the list. So for the prices, it's not really a solution. What we say is that welfare have to be affordable, and there are some regulation with the CAP that I don't remember what it means. Where is she? Martina, can you help me?
Yes, common.
Okay, so like maybe some regulations about the prices, but also some contracts with some supermarkets that might help to have like a price which won't change all of the time with the market, and that might help to have maybe price which might be more affordable for the consumers. Then we have space allowance for the animals, so solutions can be or to increase space or to reduce density. And then we have like a lot of things that we didn't really have time to rank. So mutilations, one of the solutions will be to have a more adapted environment and a good condition for rearing the animal before and then stop mutilation. But we have to be sure that the to go step by step to improve on that point. Then we have environmental impact, which can be reduced while using local resources or byproducts, or also alternative feed for the animals. We have also the impact of genetics on the welfare, maybe like for fast growing strains. So that's a work on the strains again. And the last, but which is not the last, we didn't have time to rank, is chick skilling, and the solutions are ovosexing and dual purpose breeds. So I think that I said almost everything, and if the team wants to complete, you are really welcome. We try to do the ranking considering what citizens will think first. So that's why the last ones are more, yeah. It's not an easy job, Cesare. You could join this team. Huh? Thank you very much. No problem.
Really a very good job. We'll use these results tomorrow to conclude with another working group where we want to analyze the really weight of the word that you used, okay, with an image, with a picture, okay, to finalize. Thank you very much to all. Thank you.